Hello everyone, welcome to General Biology. I am Professor K. I will be going over, in this video, I'll be going over Canvas and your syllabus, quickly show you where things are on Canvas. So I'm in a student view right now. So to get to this page, you just have to click home. On this page, you have your course information, your syllabus, your course schedule, video lectures, assignments. And under here, you have my contact information. This is my email. You can reach out to me through email, but I do prefer that you reach out to me through Canvas inbox. And my office hours are in person on Mondays and Wednesdays at from 12 to 1:45 p.m. in S115. I also have some more office hours. I'm going to show you those on the syllabus. So to get to the syllabus, you want to click this link. So this is the syllabus. I have office hours 12:30 to 1:45 in S115. S stands for Science Building, and my office is 115 in Science Building. And I'll also be there on Mondays from 4:50 to 6:15. Again, this should be S115. So for the course modality, this is a hybrid course. That means the lectures are online and the labs are in person. I have a couple lab sections, and you will be attending the one you registered for. For example, if you registered for section 102, that's going to meet Mondays at 1:45 in S134. If you register for 103, you're going to meet at this time. If you register for this one, you're going to meet at this time at 6:15 on Mondays in S134. Again, check your web, my web, wherever you register for it, see which section you need to attend. So the lab sections, the lab meetings are in person, the lectures are online. I will be posting all the lectures on Canvas, and they will be due on various days. So you have to check Canvas calendar to see when they're due. I will show you where to find that information on Canvas when we go back to Canvas. Here's your course description. I'm gonna let you read that on your own. And this is the course information. You can read through this. This is basically saying this class is asynchronous for the lecture portion, but we are meeting in person for the lab portion. Participation is mandatory both in lecture and lab. For lecture, you'll be, doing assignments online, watching lectures, and then for the lab, you'll be attending that in person. You will need to respond as Lockdown browser for proctoring for the exams. Here are the mandatory materials for the course. And you need the textbook. You can either have a hard copy or you can get electronic copy. Either or is fine, whatever you feel comfortable with. I will be sending a little bit more information where to get the book. For the lab materials, lab packets are available at San Jose City Bookstore. And I will be giving you the first week's lab in case you don't buy it on Monday. So I'll give you first week's lab, but after that, you'll be responsible for the lab worksheets. You'll need a webcam and respond as Lockdown browser on your computer to take the exams. How to get the Lockdown browser? You have to click free download and it'll download it on your computer. When you take the exam, you have to close out all the windows. You're only gonna open Respondus Lockdown browser app that you downloaded using this link. And then through the app, you're gonna log into your Canvas and take the exam. If you're having any technical issues with Respondus or getting to the Canvas page, you can call this number. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I believe, but you can check their website for more information. I am not able to help with technical issues, so you'll have to call this number and they're very helpful. All the lecture handouts, lecture recordings, study guides for each chapter are posted or will be posted on Canvas. So here are overall course expectations, what I expect of you, what you can expect of me. You can read through this in detail, which I recommend. So basically be informed, read through the syllabus so you know what's going on. Check Canvas to-do lists regularly and keep up with the lectures. Otherwise, it gets overwhelming as the previous lecture builds on the next one. Have a good attitude. Be respectful to your classmates towards me. Read through student code of conduct, because if you violate anything on student code of conduct, you will be dropped from the course. Here is the civility statement, basically how to behave in a classroom. So you can read through this, and here are the course learning outcomes. Again, you can read through that. This is the grading policy for the course. You have lecture exams, which are worth 35% of your grade. You have your lab work, which is worth 25%. Your lecture homework is worth 10%. On your lecture homework, you have 2 attempts. They'll take your highest score. And these are open book, open notes. Lecture exams are closed book, closed notes. And lecture videos are, are worth almost similar to, a little bit less than your lecture exams. They're worth 30% of your grade. So the way lecture videos work, when you watch a video, there'll be questions popping up about what I talked about. So basically, I'm talking about something and then a question pops up about that. And that means you have to answer the question to get the point. But you do have 2 attempts on the lecture videos again, and that's total 100%. You do not have cumulative final. And this is the grading scale for the course. For the late policy, again, like I said, the lecture videos, that's where you will be spending most of your time. Each lecture video builds on the previous lecture, so you'll need to watch it in timely manner to pass the course. If you fall behind, it's gonna get overwhelming, and you have to watch that previous lecture video to get to the next one anyway, because next module is not gonna open unless you watch the previous video or whatever you missed. But anyways, if you do, let's say you miss a video, you can't watch it on time, this is the late policy or late schedule. If you turn it on time, you get full credit for it. If it's 1 day late, it's, you get 90% of the points possible. 2 days late, 80%, 3 days, 70%, 4 days, 60%, but 5 or more days, you don't get any points. So that's the schedule it's gonna follow. For the lab report, same thing. Late reports will be penalized 10% of the maximum points per day. So we meet once a week for the labs. And let's say you don't turn it in on Monday. That means you're gonna meet me again on coming Monday, and you'll be losing most of the points for the lab report unless you come back on Wednesday and turn it in. For lab quizzes, I haven't put any scheduled quizzes in the schedule, but if there are any, I will probably give you information about it in class. But if there is a quiz in the lab, you have to be present in the lab to take the quiz. There is no makeup quizzes possible if it's an in-person quiz. Lecture exams will be online. You will need Respondus Lockdown browser for it. Exams are closed book, closed notes. And for the lecture exams, there is an exam policy. So you have to take the exams when they're scheduled. If you cannot do that and you don't have documentation, you cannot make up the exam. So makeup exams are given under these 2 circumstances. You or a family member have a medical emergency, you can verify this with a doctor's note. I will need documentation. You cannot take the exam without documentation. You have to contact me via email within 24 hours of the exam. If, something happens, if it's an emergency, that's okay. But if you can, try to notify me a week ahead. Otherwise, you have to bring a documentation if it was an emergency. So if something happens, you will need documentation to make up the exam, and makeup exams are given at the end of the semester. You won't be able to take it, right then or the following week. It has to be at the end of the semester. Because I have to write a new exam. And then scheduled medical appointments do not count as emergency. Study guides are available for each chapter on Canvas. You can do them if you want to. They're very helpful with the exams, but they're optional. If you do them, you can turn them in for extra points towards the exam. I'll show you where those are on Canvas. Lab attendance is mandatory. No makeup labs are possible, and the reason being is because we have to do a whole setup for the lab, and we cannot do that on a different day. We have to follow the lab schedule, as there are multiple sections of the course that are using the lab room. But if, let's say, you are Monday lab and you have to miss a lab for whatever reason, you can let me know. I have multiple other sections and you can complete the lab in a different lab period. So let's say you cannot make it to Monday afternoon lab and that's the lab that you're in, but you can make it to Monday evening lab. Email me out and I'll try to find space for you in the evening lab. Or maybe you can come to the Wednesday lab, or you can maybe come to my Friday lab. So I have a couple lab sections. If you cannot make it to the time you registered for, once or twice, or we can see if we can find you space in another lab. But it can't be a regular thing. So lab attendance policy. Lab attendance is absolute mandatory. There are no cell phones allowed in the lab. You have to keep these in your backpack. And I start labs right on time. If it says 1:45, I will start lab at 1:45. So whatever time you registered for, that's the time you're responsible for showing up. So if you show up maybe 5 minutes late, it'll be unexcused absence. So make sure you show up on time for the lab. And if you miss more than 2 labs, you'll be dropped from the course. And if the final drop date has passed, you will receive F in the course. You have to meet the lab hours in order to receive a passing grade in the course. And make sure you keep all your important appointments, for example, counseling appointment, your doctor's appointment, out of the lab time. If you need to take a call during the lab, you can discuss it with me ahead of time. So regular attendance is mandatory for lab sections. Regular attendance is mandatory for lecture sections. The way attendance is taken for the lecture is if you miss more than a week's worth of lectures during the semester and you don't notify me about this, you can be dropped from the course. And same thing for the lab. If you miss more than 2 labs, excused or unexcused during the semester, you receive a failing grade in the course because you have to meet the lab hours to receive a passing grade. Exam proctoring policy, like I said, you'll be using Lockdown Browser for it. So you have to follow a couple guidelines for it. I will be sending these guidelines right before your exam too, just to make sure you don't miss them. So you have to make sure your laptop is fully charged and you have your webcam turned on, your microphone is working. I will be sending a practice quiz with Lockdown Browser just to make sure your browser is working ahead of time. So take that quiz. It's not worth any points, but you can test your browser. And if you have a Mac, sometimes you have your cell phone connected to your Mac and your notifications pop up on the side. If that happens during the exam, it's going to exit the exam and it's going to submit the exam for you. So make sure you have those turned off. And you have to close all the windows. You only have to open Lockdown Browser on your computer, and then you'll be able to log into Canvas and take the exam. You need to show the photo ID and make sure you position your webcam shoulders up. And you have to make sure that you're sitting in a location where you won't be interrupted. You have to turn off all the other devices. You have to clear all your desk because the exams are closed book, closed notes. You have to remain at your computer for the duration of the test. If you leave and it can't detect your face, it's gonna submit the exam for you. You'll be exited out. And make sure your network is working before internet use working before you take the exam. Avoid wearing any baseball caps, avoiding wearing masks. Make sure your computer is at your firm surface, it's not in your lap or bed, or a surface that might move, because that's gonna give you issues during the exam. And make sure you take it again in a little room, avoid backlighting and I can see your face. And again, if you have any issues, technical issues, call IT department at San Jose City College. I will be going over in-person safety in class when we do the first lab. I'm gonna let you read through some of this stuff. PLTL program, we do have a couple tutors for the course. And if you attend, let's say 20 hours during the semester, and these workshops mostly are through Zoom. And I'll send you the schedule once I get the schedule, once the semester starts. If you attend 20 of these, you can gain 20 points. That's extra credit, and that can go towards your exam. Plagiarism and cheating. If let's say that you take your exam through Lockdown Browser and marks you for suspicious activity, If you mark for any suspicious activity, you will automatically receive a 0 for that exam. So just make sure you follow all the rules and you don't do anything suspicious. And make sure you show up on time for class. If you're SAS student, please send me your accommodation form and I will provide the accommodations to you. You can read through again discrimination and sexual harassment policy on your own and student code of conduct, which is very important on your own. Again, if you violate any of the clauses on this, you'll be dropped from the course. I'm gonna go back on Canvas now. Next thing we have is course schedule. So when you click that, this is the page you get to. This is your course schedule. You're gonna see Monday, Wednesdays on this. So I try breaking it up. You're gonna notice we have total of 18 chapters. I skipped chapter 11, so we're not gonna do chapter 11. We have total 19. But since we're not doing chapter 11, we have total 18 chapters and we have 16 weeks. So most of the days or most of the weeks, you're gonna have only one chapter to do. But there may be a week or two when you have a little bit more than one chapter. And that's again, we're trying to fit in all the material into the semester. Your exams, they have various dates. This one falls on a Monday, this one falls on a Wednesday, this one falls on a Monday, next one also on a Monday, and last one on a Wednesday. And there's no cumulative final. This is telling you the chapters that it's gonna cover. First, the one's gonna cover chapter 1 through 3. So the way it's gonna work is your exam is going to open at 8 a.m. and it's going to close at 8 p.m. So you between that 12-hour window, you have to find some time to take the exam. If you miss the exam, you don't have documentation, you won't be able to make it up. So just make sure you note down the exam dates and you try to find some time on that day to take the exam. So that's the schedule. And then I have a note here that the videos might be due on various days and you have to click each assignment to see the due date, or you can go to course calendar. So I'll show you where that is. So here's your to-do list. This is going to tell you what to do when. And then here is assignments tab. That's also going to tell you what to do when. But the best place to go to is your course calendar. When you click that, you're going to come to course calendar. I'm going to go in January. And this is when the semester starts on 27th. These lectures are usually due on the 27th, but I just want to give you a little bit of time to make sure where these are. So you have your chapter 1, 3 parts due on Tuesday by midnight. Then you have a couple due on this day here. So the way it works is you're going to notice there's chapter 1, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 parts to chapter 1. So if chapter 1 lecture is 60 hours long, 60 minutes long, I try breaking it up into 10 to 12 minute or 15-minute videos. So that way, you can watch it, take a break, watch the next one, take a break. So each video is going to be 10 minutes long or 12 minutes or 15 minutes long, depending on how long the chapter is. So this is just to make sure, you're able to pay attention and do the videos. So again, you can just go to the next month and view all the due dates. I'm gonna go back on home page here. And if you go on assignments, that's also gonna go show you when the assignments are due, especially if you have this show by date. If you say show by type, then it's different. But if you say show by date, it's gonna show you chapter 1, part 1 is due on January 28th. And you can use this list, but I really like using the calendar. It's easier. And then you go on modules. On modules, first tab, you have your exams, all the exams here. And you also have your essay questions. So your exams, they consist of multiple choice questions, fill in the blank questions, short answer, and essay questions. I give you the essay questions ahead of time. I'm not going to collect these. It's up to you if you want to do them ahead of time before the exam. That way you know the answer to it on the exam. So this is your question for chapter 1. This is related to chapter 1. It says chapter 1 through 3. Then you have another one. This is chapter 2. For chapter 3, I gave you this kind of worksheet. It has a couple fill in the blank. And it's kind of an activity and some matching questions here. So I'll pull up some questions from here. For example, either fill in the blank or matching for chapter 3 and put them on your exam. I can pull up one of the questions for the other chapters. You might have one or two essay questions. So you can do this ahead of time and you can be prepared for the exam. And then you have chapter 4 here. This is related to chapter 4, multiple parts question. Chapter 5. So you can download this whole thing and print it and do, for each exam. That way you don't miss out any points on the exam. Going back on modules, you have your orientation to the course. I kind of went through this thing before. That's the reason it's kind of highlighted. But if this was your first time opening it, this is how it'll show. You're going to have to complete, the part before to get to the next one. When you go to the orientation to the course, you're going to have different tabs that give you information about different parts of the course. You're going to have to go through all these tabs, and then it's going to let you move on to the next module. So just read the information for the course. Here's another one, kind of gives you information about the lab location, your textbook, Respondus. You can click this link to get to Respondus download. A couple more things, tutoring services, course expectations, exam proctoring. And then you can click next again. This is Q&A. You can ask questions here. Your classmates can answer, or I can answer if I see it. Or you can ask me questions in person, or you can ask me questions through Canvas inbox. Then on the next page, you have the orientation video. That's the video I'm recording right now. So you're going to complete that, and then you get to chapter 1 and 2. I want to really show you what's under here. You have 5 tabs for each chapter, or each module. On the first one, it shows you what you'll be doing. And chapter 1 overview. You'll be watching pre-recorded lecture videos for chapter 1. You'll be reading the textbook chapter 1 for chapter 1. And you'll be doing homework for chapter 1. And then you can complete the study guide for chapter 1, which is optional. You go to the next tab, you have your lecture content. First tab here, download lecture slides. You can click that and it's going to give you all the slides that I cover in these videos. Then you can start completing these videos. Now, let's say you took your 2 attempts and you completed the video. Now the exam is coming up. You want to go back to the video and you want to review it. For that, you have these YouTube links. You can click the YouTube link. It's the same video, but it opens on YouTube. And you can go backward or forward on that one. You cannot do that with these videos. And you can review them that way. Same thing for chapter 2. I post the YouTube links for all the videos for all the chapters. So you can use these for review. Then study guide. So you have your chapter 1 study guide, which is very helpful for the exam if you do them. And chapter 2 study guide. You can complete these and you can turn them in for extra points. Or you don't have to do them if you don't want to. Extra resources. So I try posting some videos on some of the topics that I thought may be a little bit difficult for you to understand. If you're a visual person, you can watch these videos. They might be helpful. Under assignments, it tells you what to do again. You have your chapter videos due. You have your chapter 1 homework due. You have your chapter 2 videos, then chapter 2 homework. And it says click the assignment to view the due date. So you have to click each assignment to see when it's due. So that's your chapter 1 and 2. You have same thing going on for chapter 3. You have the various tabs. You have study guide. And then you also have review videos for each exam. So you have to watch this video to get to the next tab. So I'm going to leave student view because otherwise I can't show you what I'm trying to show you here. Here you have chapter 3 review. And you're going to notice that these review videos are also worth points. So you have to watch them. And then you have your exam 1, chapter 1 through 3. I'm going to leave student view and show you what it's supposed to look like. So you have 5 tabs again for the first exam. Here kind of gives you information, what's covered on the exam, and what do you need for the exam, how long you have for the exam. And the next tab, it says first exam lecture content. Exam 1 covers chapter 1 through 3. That means it's going to give you first 3 chapters here. You have your lecture slides and you have your recorded lectures, or you can go back and watch those YouTube videos. Under extra resources, I made some Kahoots. These give you practice questions. So you can play Kahoot, but you might have to open Kahoot on your phone and your laptop if you're just gonna play, by yourself and you don't have anybody else participating. Your review videos are here as well. But you'll have to you would probably have watched these already when you got to this tab because these come before you get to exam 1. Under extra credit, you have this link. This is where you can upload the study guides if you do them. Let's say you do chapter 1, 2, and 3 study guide, you can get 3 points towards your exam, first exam. But let's say you only do the first study guide, chapter 1 and chapter 2, you don't get to chapter 3. You can still turn in chapter 1 and 2 study guide to get 2 points. So whatever you have, I recommend uploading it so you can get some points. Under assignments, again, you have your chapter 1, lecture 1 exam. You can click that to take it on the day of the exam. And again, here you can upload the extra guide, study guide if you did it. So going back on home page, that's all I had for you. If you have any questions, you can let me know through Canvas inbox. You can ask me in person. And again, this is the best place to go to, course calendar, view calendar, to view the due dates for the assignments so you don't miss them. But that's all I have for you. I just wanted to go over Canvas and the schedule and the syllabus. I will be sending announcements. You also have announcements tab about the textbook, and I will be sending a welcome letter with the other information before the semester starts. Thank you for listening.